Hello everyone, welcome to the online class for listening elementary. My name is Nguyen Thanh Thao, and can you guess what is our topic for today? Have a look at the picture. Can you tell me who they are? Are they adults? Or are they children? Yes, they are children, so that's why our topic for today is all about children. First of all, let's have a look at our objectives. With this one, you will be able to practice listening about a child's life. Then you can learn vocabulary relating to children. And at the end, you will be more sympathetic with unlucky children. Okay, so first of all, let's play a small game together. Our game for today is called Picking Apples, which means you have to answer questions about Nguyen's life. Do you remember who is Nguyen? This is a picture of him. Do you remember him? For sure, we have learned about him in our previous lesson. And he is a Sudanese child refugee. And now he is the owner of a coffee company. With every correct answer about Nguyen's life, you will get an apple for your hamster. So are you ready for the game? Okay, let our game start. As you can see on the screen, there are a hamster and an apple tree. On the tree, there are 5 apples, which means you have to answer 5 questions. And for each correct answer, your hamster will receive an apple for himself. Today, I would like to go backward. So, let's begin with question number 5. Question number 5. How old was Nguyen when he lost his family? A. When he was 1, or B. When he was 2, or C. When he was 3, and D. When he was 4. Do you remember? Yes, the answer is 2. He was only 2 when he lost the family. Good job everyone. The hamster has the first apple. Next. Where was he after being separated from his parents? A. He moved to South Sudan. Or B. He moved to Ethiopia. C. He came to Somalia. And D. It was Kenya, where he went to. Do you remember? And the answer is B. Yes, Ethiopia. Good job everyone. And let's take the second one for him. Next one. When did he move to the US? That means how old was he when he moved there? A. When he was 14, B. When he was 15, or C. When he was 16, and D. When he was 17. Remember, he moved to the US to join a college. So do you remember how old he was? And the answer is 16. Great job everyone. Let's take the next one for our hamster. Next question. What do the numbers in the company's name represent for? I mean, can you tell me the meaning of the numbers in the company's name? As you can see, his company's name is 734 Coffee. So do you remember what does it represent for? A. Is it an address? B. Is it his favorite numbers? C. Is it the total workers of his company? Or D. It stands for a geographical coordinates. And your answer is D. Good job everyone. Great job. And the fourth apple. Last question. Can you tell me what is the name of his project? Do you remember why this project started? Yes, he wants to help the Sudanese people, so that's why he started his project. And can you tell me the name of the project? This is the picture of the project, and its name is Humanity Helping Sudan Project. Great job, everyone. I believe that you can remember this quite well. Okay, so now let's check the last apple for he. Good job, everyone. You have got 5 apples for your hamster with all the correct answer. Look at the hamster, how happy he is. So now, let's come to our listening for today. In the listening one, you will hear a woman talking about the lost boys of Sudan. Listen to the talk. Number the events in the order that you hear. You can listen twice for this activity. Firstly, let's have a look at our new words. Number 1. Rake out. Rake out. This is a phrasal verb because it has the structure of a verb go together with a preposition. And this phrasal verb means to start suddenly. I have an example for you. The fire broke out during the night. Here, I changed the verb rake into broke because this sentence describes an action happened in the past. Number 2. Force. Force. This is a noun which means a trained or skillful and organized group of police or military personnel. And the plural form of this word is forces. Forces. We add s to the noun, but we have to pronounce one more syllable. Forces. Here I have some example of the forces for you. I have Air Force, or this is the picture of police force. As you can see, both Air Force and Police Force, they are all members of an army. And can you tell me another noun which is used to describe them? Yes, our noun is soldier. Soldier, which means a member of an army. And last one, I have livestock. Livestock. This is a noun which is used to describe the animals kept on a farm. For example, cows or sheep. Okay, so now let's read again our new words. Number 1, rake out. Rake out. Number 2, force. Force. Number 3, soldier. Soldier. Number 4, livestock. Livestock. Okay, so now let's have a look at our questions for today. Here I have 8 events, but the order isn't correct. Your job is to listen and make them in the correct order. So now let's go through the questions together. Number 1. The boys spent a long period of time in refugee camps. Number 2. The boys had to move to another place for living. Number 3. A civil war broke out in Ethiopia. Number 4. The boys lost their families in the war. Number 5. Many boys died. Number 6. Nearly 2 million people were killed. Number 7. In 1983, a civil war broke out in Sudan. Number 8. The boys got troubles in finding food and drink. Pay attention to number 3 and number 7 because they are quite similar. But you have to pay attention to the place, which one or where the war happened first. And one more thing I would like to remind you is that the word in the statements may be not really the same as what you hear. For example, number 1, they say a long period of time. Maybe in the listening, they will give you a certain number, not just the phrase a long period of time. Okay, are you ready? For this one, you are allowed to listen twice. Let's listen.
In the 1980s, a group of boys in Africa had to face a major change in their lives, one that nothing could prepare them for. These boys were growing up in a country called Sudan in northeastern Africa. Sudan is the largest country on the continent. It is divided into northern and southern states. Most of the cities are in the north. In southern Sudan, most of the people make their living farming and raising cattle, goats, and sheep. In 1983, civil war broke out. The fighting started because of religious differences and arguments over who should control the oil in the country. Forces backed by the government, which is in the north, started attacking villages in the south. Almost 2 million people were killed. In the southern villages, many boys were away from their homes when the attacks happened. They were out in the fields, tending their families' livestock. These boys and some other lucky ones were able to escape into the forest, but their lives were changed forever. More than 20,000 boys were orphaned or separated from their families by the war. Most of them were between the ages of 8 and 18. They became known as the Lost Boys of Sudan. Now the Lost Boys had nowhere to live. They had to cross the country on foot, walking about 1,000 miles to camps in Ethiopia where they would be safe. Their journey was very dangerous and lasted for months. The boys sometimes went days without eating. Drinking water was hard to find. Often, when they could find water, it was polluted. The boys had to hide from soldiers and even faced attacks by wild animals. Many of the lost boys died. Even after they reached the camps, their troubles were not over. They spent 3 years in crowded refugee camps in Ethiopia. But then, civil war broke out in that country too.
Okay, so that's it the first time of listening. So now, let's listen again. And then we'll correct together.
In the 1980s, a group of boys in Africa had to face a major change in their lives, one that nothing could prepare them for. These boys were growing up in a country called Sudan in northeastern Africa. Sudan is the largest country on the continent. It is divided into northern and southern states. Most of the cities are in the north. In southern Sudan, most of the people make their living farming and raising cattle, goats, and sheep. In 1983, civil war broke out. The fighting started because of religious differences and arguments over who should control the oil in the country. Forces backed by the government, which is in the north, started attacking villages in the south. Almost 2 million people were killed. In the southern villages, many boys were away from their homes when the attacks happened. They were out in the fields, tending their families' livestock. These boys and some other lucky ones were able to escape into the forest, but their lives were changed forever. More than 20,000 boys were orphaned or separated from their families by the war. Most of them were between the ages of 8 and 18. They became known as the Lost Boys of Sudan. Now the Lost Boys had nowhere to live. They had to cross the country on foot, walking about 1,000 miles to camps in Ethiopia where they would be safe. Their journey was very dangerous and lasted for months. The boys sometimes went days without eating. Drinking water was hard to find. Often, when they could find water, it was polluted. The boys had to hide from soldiers and even faced attacks by wild animals. Many of the lost boys died. Even after they reached the camps, their troubles were not over. They spent 3 years in crowded refugee camps in Ethiopia. But then, civil war broke out in that country too.
Okay, so that's all for the listening. Now let's check the answers together. Number 1. What can you hear first? Is A. Yes, in 1983, a civil war broke out in Sudan. So now let's listen to this part again.
In 1983, a civil war broke out.
Okay, so they used the same year and the same word that they mentioned in the listening. So number 1 is quite easy. How about the second event? What is the result of a war happened? Yes, it's nearly 2 million people were killed. Okay, let's check.
Almost 2 million people were killed.
As you can listen, they use the word almost instead of nearly. But anyway, they have the same meaning. So that's why the second event is nearly 2 million people were killed. How about number 3? What is your answer? Yes, the boys lost their families in the war. Let's listen to this part again to find out.
More than 20,000 boys were orphaned or separated from their families by the war.
So can you listen to the word were orphaned? Yes, it is the other way to describe the boy who lost their families. So number 3 is the boys lost their families in the war. How about number 4? Can you tell me your answer? Yes, it is the boys had to move to other place for living. Let's listen.
Now the lost boys had nowhere to live. They had to cross the country on foot.
Okay, before they have nowhere to live, they have to cross the country on foot, which means they have to move to another place for their living. But is it an easy or difficult journey? Yes, next is the boy got troubles in finding food and drink. Let's listen to this part.
The boys sometimes went days without eating. Drinking water was hard to find.
As you can listen, they say the boys sometimes went days with no food or drink. That's why they got a lot of troubles in finding food and drink. And as a result, what happened to them? Number 6 is many boys died. Let's check the listening again.
Many of the lost boys died.
Okay, how about number 7? What happened next? Yes, they came to a refugee camp and they spent a long period of time there. Do you remember how many years was that?
They spent 3 years in crowded refugee camps in Ethiopia.
Yes, they spent 3 years in a crowded refugee camp. Here we can see that they have changed 3 years into a long period of time to make it a little more difficult. And lastly, for sure, it's a civil war broke out in Ethiopia. Let's listen and check.
But then, civil war broke out in that country too.
And then civil war broke out in that country too, which means in Ethiopia. Okay, so here, Ethiopia means that country. I read the answer again. Number 1. In 1983, a civil war broke out in Sudan. Then, nearly 2 million people were killed. Then, the boys lost their family in the war. They had to move to another place for living. The journey wasn't easy. The boys got troubles in finding food and drink. Some of them died. Finally, they came to a refugee camp and spent a long period of time there. But unluckily, a civil war broke out in Ethiopia too. Okay, everyone, let's correct your answer carefully. Okay, everyone, let's move on to our second listening. In listening 2, we are going to listen to a song called Song for Children. This is a very nice song, and I bet you will like it. But first of all, I think we should have a look at our new words. Look at the picture. Look at the man. Can you tell me how he's feeling now? Is he happy or sad? Yes, he is sad and walking slowly with no purpose or direction. Does this remind you to a verb that describes his actions now? And is it? Yes, wander. Wander. Wander is a verb used to describe somebody who is walking slowly around or to a place, often without any particular sense of purpose or direction. The second word, I have miracle. Miracle. This is a noun used to describe a lucky thing that happens that you didn't expect or think were possible. I have an example for you. It's a miracle that nobody was killed in the crash. Next, I have sing. Sing. Sing is a verb which is used to describe somebody who is making musical sounds with the voice. And here, sing is an irregular verb, so I have the present form is sing, the past form is sang, and the past participle is sung. Last one, I have danger. Danger. Danger is a noun which means the possibility of something bad or unpleasant happening. Do you know the adjective of this noun? Yes, it is dangerous. We add ous to the noun to form the adjective. Okay, so now let's read again the 4 new words together. Everyone repeat after me. Wander. Wander. Number 2, miracle. Miracle. Number 3, sing. Sing. And number 4, danger. Danger. Okay, so now let's have a look at our song. Song for the children. Here are the lyrics. Let's read it together. Where do they wander, and where can they stay? These blind children who have no home today. Where are the families who cared for the young? Why must this lonely and sad song be sung? Dangers left behind them, or dangers coming near. Every day and every night they have so much to blank. Where are the families who cared for the young? Why must this lonely and sad song be sung? On and on, hand in hand, blank on towards a blank. Then suddenly a miracle for help is coming near. We all can help, so please do your blank to show these children that you have a blank. Where are the families who cared for the young? Why must this lonely and sad song be sung? As you can see, we have 6 blanks. You have to fill one word for each blank. And for this song, you are allowed to listen twice. However, I think we should analyze this one together first to make it easier for you to listen. Number 1, can you tell me before a noun, what do we need to fill in here? We need an adjective. Good job, everyone. How about number 2? After to, it must be a verb. Yes, correct. How about number 3? We have hand in hand. So here is merged. So the purpose of why we should hand in hand. So here can be a gerund or to infinitive. Gerund here is a verb with ing. How about number 4? After to be, there usually an adjective or a noun. How about number 5? After your, a possessive pronoun, we will need a noun. Good job. And how about number 6? We also need a noun here. Okay, so are you ready to listen? Yes, you are allowed to listen twice. Now, let's begin.
Listen to Song for the Children.
Where do they wander? And where can they stay? These innocent children who have no home today. Where are the families who cared for the young? Why must this lonely and sad song be sung? Dangers left behind them, or dangers coming near. Every day and every night they have so much to fear. Where are the families who cared for the young? Why must this lonely and sad song be sung? On and on, hand in hand, holding on to what is dear. Then suddenly a miracle, for help is coming near. We all can help, so please do your part to show these children that you have a heart. Where are the families who cared for the young? Why must this lonely and sad song be sung?
Listen to the song one more time and we'll correct together.
Listen to Song for the Children.
Where do they wander? And where can they stay? These innocent children who have no home today. Where are the families who cared for the young? Why must this lonely and sad song be sung? Dangers left behind them, or dangers coming near. Every day and every night, they have so much to fear. Cared for the young. Why must this lonely and sad song be sung? On and on, hand in hand, holding on to what is dear. Then suddenly a miracle, for help is coming near. We all can help, so please do your part to show these children that you have a heart. Where are the families who cared for the young? Why must this lonely and sad song be sung?
Okay everyone, let's correct the song together. Number 1. These. What can you hear? What is the adjective here? Yes, innocent. Innocent. How about number 2? They have so much to? Yes, the answer is fear. It has the synonym is scare. Okay, how about number 3? What can you feel here? Is it holding? How about number 4? It's dear. Okay. Number 5. What is the answer? Please do your... Yes, part. This means the responsibility. Okay. And number 6. Show these children that you have a... Yes, heart. This song is quite easy, right? Okay, good job everyone. Correct your answer carefully. And now let's go to the last part of our lesson today. At home, I want you to write the new words carefully, and I want you to list 5 solutions that have been done to provide Sudanese children with a better life. Remember, you have to list 5 solutions for me. Okay, thank you everyone. It has bring us to the end of our lesson. See you again.